Last year, 2024, I channeled an energy and predictions video, and they talked about the government changes. They talked about an assassination attempt on President Trump. They talked about people falling far from their positions in music and entertainment. We saw those things start to happen. In 2025, I put an energy and predictions video out in January, and right now it was all about magnitude level 9 or greater earthquake. That was channeled on June 23rd. That would create a tsunami. July 4th, we had that flood here in Texas, and they said it would be the beginning of natural disasters, a phenomenon in your United States. Then 5 days, and that's when one of the earthquakes, it's not the earthquake they were talking about. I know that. There's everything inside of me is telling me it's not that one. There's a 9+ coming.
Welcome, everyone, to today's Awakening Entrepreneur podcast. We've got Pamela Downes. She's a trance channeler, and I'm super excited to have her on the show. Someone that I believe has a big message to share with humanity right now. I consult with different clients to help them make more impact, especially people in the consciousness space. And one of the things I shared is not like marketing tactics and strategies, is when you are in alignment with
Mm.
what the universe is calling you to do, you get on this almost like a highway, a trajectory that suddenly you starting reaching more people, your business starting to grow, and that's what I'm seeing happening to you, Pam, like from the
Yeah.
outside. And so how's life been for you?
Oh my gosh. Thank you for saying that. That is so lovely to hear. And that is what is happening. Life has been a roller coaster. I was just working with the guides for a half hour, and I said, I'm tired. you know, um, I said, I'm ready for my next transmission, and I'm ready for my up leveling. And because I'm running two businesses, I've been an entrepreneur since 2000. So for 25 years, I've been running a business. And for the last 4 years, I've been running this two businesses, and they both need my attention. And I have employees and a business partner in the other business. And this business, I lead a team, and I have, you know, I'm letting, they're totally different businesses, but I'm letting, the universe, I'm watching the universe guide it, and I'm putting the energy behind it and doing what I feel is I'm being called and pulled to do. And it's lovely to see it just kind of, moving forward. Yesterday, I was talking to someone that in the beginning, a little bit about a year ago, I kept saying, well, where are the people? Why aren't they coming to the community? It was always the community, the community, the community. And then I had to shift it. I actually went to see Lee Harris in Boulder just for fun. And on the way over in the plane, I saw myself speaking with him directly. I also saw myself in a restaurant, and he was to my left with a white t-shirt on. And that happened. We were in a restaurant, and we looked over, and his whole team was sitting around this round table, and he was facing me with a white t-shirt. And then we were in the hall, the event hall, and he called three people for questions, and I was one of them. And I said, I'm asked the Z's, like, where do you think, this was a little over a year ago, where's the community? I've built it, I've listened, I've done all the things, because I'm human too, I'm human like everyone else. I'm doing my best like everyone else. And he said, the community, he said, I call it the portal. He said, the portal, you are the portal. You are the portal, Pamela. And it was like this dynamic shift happened as soon as I knew that it was me that had to be present out in the world talking about all the things rather than like hyper focusing on the community. Everything shifted. Everything shifted. And that's what you're seeing now, which is so cool. I was in the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I partially like I resonated with so much with your journey because I started my own business 99 2000 as well, as a
Yeah.
marketing agency. And yeah, and going through that path of very traditional, well, not traditional, but nothing spiritual.
Hmm.
Raised Catholic and had like I wasn't into like wanting to learn about spirituality, but life happened to us.
Yeah.
for me, it was triggered by my relationship, but it
Mm,
just wow, like you thought you knew all about the world, like in the 3D, like learning about marketing strategy and all these things and making money and making people happy. And it's like
yeah,
when you go through this awakening journey, it's like wow, the more you know, the more that you realize how little you know.
yeah, absolutely. It's so
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Yeah,
So you say you've got two company, like one is Spirit Calling, which is the one that you
yeah.
talked about with the portal and the community. What's the other business?
The other one is it's, I don't typically promote it on my spiritual podcast appearances, but it is Rev Creative Group.
Yeah,
And, I have a business partner who's lovely. And the whole journey with her has been, even though she's not spiritual, she aligns with me and there's soul work there. And there's always been, even when I had my own firm for 18 years, she was my client for 10 of those years. And she's 13 years younger than me. So that's a lot of numbers, right? In the same time. But when she was ready to take the next step to move into what she was being called to do, I had a cushion and we created something together. And then I had to merge that business into this business. So there's always been these, you know, trusting the universe, knowing that if she left her position with a salary and vacation and bonuses and all the things to jump into this pool of the unknown with me, that we would be successful. Like I just knew it. And I also was like, she's my biggest client. How is that going to work for me if she leaves her position? And so I had to trust. I had
yeah.
to trust, trust, trust. And it all happened right before COVID. And, that was also a huge shift in our world. And we grew exponentially. Like we continued to grow because we sat in a space of opportunity and wonderment. And how can we do this? And how can we were able to pivot very quickly. And it just kind of changed from there. But also, I changed. I changed in 2020 after that week long ayahuasca journey. At the end of it, all my senses, everything opened, and I had the white light come through my third eye. And I heard my whole body fill up with vibration. My teeth were chattering, and I heard your psychic abilities have been enhanced. Everything from this moment forward will be different. And then I changed. So it's not like we stop, right, Gary? Like we are always continually on this path of unfolding and what's next, and all the things.
Oh my gosh, Pam, there's so many things I want to ask you. Um, so in your ayahuasca journey, like what was was there a moment that like obviously you get the certain physical sensation and you may have certain things that comes up, but was there a moment that wow, and you just remembered things that you had forgotten of a part of you that you
Yeah.
had forgotten?
Yeah, there was it was 4 days of several receiving the medicine several times each day.
Hmm.
And I was scared. I was afraid of it, but and we didn't even get into that. I had a really strong calling to go. I didn't know how I was going to go. I knew where I was going to go.
Yeah.
There was no doubt in my mind. And I didn't have to figure it out because someone that I knew introduced me to someone, and I kept saying yes to all these different things. And it presented itself to me in this beautiful little package where they closed down the place I was supposed to go to. They opened it up to only 40 high conscious people who were already working on themselves. So the vibration of the experience as a whole was a high
Yeah.
vibration experience. But Spirit wanted me there so badly that it, like, I had to make all the choices to say yes. And I did. And when I got there, like part of what I was working through, Gary, was fear. A lot of the things that I have, everybody does, but I had a tremendous amount of fear inside of me. So just the act of taking the medicine in itself was huge. I remember shaking. I remember trembling. I remember my knees going weak. And this beautiful woman was almost like a mother to me. Her name was Morning Star, and she was in front of me, and I was just had my hands on her, like she was holding my hand, and I had my hands on her. And then as we walked up to receive the medicine, she was so loving. Like she stepped aside, she grabbed my hand, and she put me in front of her, and she kept her hands on my back, and I was like I was fearful, but I knew I had to do it. And the first experience I had, there were Aya was so kind and loving with me that she showed me kaleidoscopes and candy machines and like this whole sweet, loving, soft experience of colors and I witnessed her understanding how to hold me and care for me in that first thing. And then the next nights, it got deep. It got deep. There was a lot of work with my mother. There was a lot of compassion, understanding, clarity that I needed to have for her to understand her position when I was a young child in the experience that I had with my parents. And I had this profound heart opening. I could cry because I haven't thought about it in a while. And like I had this realization of like she showed up the best that she could. And I felt all her weaknesses. I felt her fear. I felt what she was dealing with and how she was fearful and felt ashamed. And, you know, like I had these deep compassions and that I was broken wide open after that. I couldn't get up. I couldn't walk. I needed to have like counseling and it was really a challenge. I mean, you know, it's not, it's not for the weak and the faint. It's really deep, profound work that you get to do. And then the next night it was about my father and all the realizations about he and his addiction and his past life and a past life we had done together and how he did better in this life and memories from my childhood coming up and showing me more and more and more and more. And then the last night it was you know, a lot of realizations and it wasn't as deep. It wasn't as deep. It was like a lighter experience and there was music involved and it was beautiful. So at the end of that experience, you know, my vibration was so high. That's why I was able to start the work that I started when I came home in 2020. Right after that, it was November of 2019. We came home and boom, it was COVID and our work life was different. We had more time in the morning. Everyone was in a different space, different consciousness had expanded. And I had this knowing that I was supposed to keep this momentum moving forward, ask for more of a continuation of what we had been doing. And that's what happened. Like, it was, you know, it was really beautiful. Sometimes I go and I look at the notes from each day I wrote the notes in a book.
Yeah. I
It's like
still go back sometime to look at it too.
yeah, yeah. You don't want to forget, right? It's humbling.
Yeah.
It gives you it gives you perspective. I always tell people that I work with, like, making notes and writing in a journal is so important because we live in this fast-paced world of I want it now, 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 now. And it's like, you know, the thread of the popcorn, you know, you're building this thread of a popcorn garland and it's one experience after the other. You don't realize it till you see it full of how much work you've done, how many things you've pushed through fear or you've stepped up to learn, expand, and grow. And they're important for us to reflect upon, I believe.
Yeah, and people that don't know about ayahuasca and some of the plant medicine, they think, oh, well, it's the same as like taking drugs or whatever. But for
Yeah.
most people, like the first night is scary, but like the second time is even more scary. So most people they don't want to take another drink. Like
No.
so it's not for the faint-hearted. It's not something you like you look forward to like, hey, let's take some. No,
Yeah, like
it's
let's go get high. Yeah, right.
yeah. Um, were you going through like what you shared with your mom in one of the nights and on the last night with your dad? At any time, like I would often ask, what, especially for first timers, like at the time, what do you think was guiding you? Um, because like it's one thing to watch the videos or hear from people to say, oh, well, the plant medicine does this, or from a
Yeah.
scientific standpoint, it does this to your brain. But like from your experience, what was guiding you with all the stories from your past and the traumas? Like, yeah,
Yeah, I believe that it was, you know, my guide who I later learned who they are, the ones that I'm working with now. And the reason why I needed to do all of that work is so that I could serve right now at humanity's this point on in our planet and our history. But collectively, I believe that my deceased loved ones were a part of it. Like everyone served a purpose at a certain particular time. All of them, I shouldn't say everyone, but they were guiding me to show me. And then when you were in the energy of the medicine, I believe it's the energy of the medicine. It's sacred. It is intentional and loving. And you know, I needed to heal trauma to raise my vibration specifically so that I could reach a vibration where I could channel the great council of light, which are super high frequency group of beings. And because of the timing, because of all the things, ayahuasca was my tool. It just happened to be my tool. Never had I ever thought I would be doing a class one hallucinogenic
Yeah.
in another country ever, ever, ever. I was a mother, I still am, of two, married, housewife, business owner, daughter, sister, friend. I mean, I never saw that for myself. I never saw this for myself. But because of that experience, it changed the trajectory of my life. Actually, leaving my marriage changed the trajectory of my life to give me the space and the opportunity to have these experiences the way that they needed to be. And I made that choice. That was I know there's something more. This contract is over. And I started getting the guidance. And my grandmother, my deceased grandmother, was very present with that. But that's what I mean. They come in chapters and seasons. They come when they need to, whoever it is at the time. And that's partly their work too, on the other side, in this life and in that space. So yeah, collectively and individually, it was all the guides, all of them when they were meant to be present, including grandmother ayahuasca for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And through your sharing, I guess it also brought a reminder that what was guiding you or guiding us is not just during the journey. Is you talk about the spirits that it was guiding you even before that to go there.
yeah,
Like we often say to people that don't go for the sake of like going. Like if you are feeling called, if you're feeling guided, you get the signs, you get the signal. So it's not
absolutely.
they'll start
Yeah,
working with you all these times. And
yeah,
one thing you also mentioned as well, like is trust, trust, trust. Like for me, like during my awakening, like the one of the biggest word is similar to trust is surrender, surrender, surrender.
yeah,
It's easy to say that, oh well, in theory, like just trust and flow, but when when your ego self has certain ideology or framework or belief system on how to make decision or which path to take, like and it's telling you to go the other way, very often it doesn't make any sense.
yeah.
I remember
Right.
like one time we just acquired another business and we had like next to no cash and it wasn't doing it as well and my wife wanted to like a certain gift for her for our anniversary. I'm thinking well, why would this make sense? Being a husband, father, it's like well, provider, like we need to hold
Yes.
on to every cash we got. It's
Yes.
perhaps let's surrender. And then
Yeah.
like out of nowhere, like extra chunk of like inheritance money like just came.
Yes. It's
What?
amazing.
Yeah. But
Yes.
like tell me like what was it a book? Was it like a something that led you to and how for me it wasn't like let's just surrender. It was like you start surrender to the small things first and you start to see
Yeah.
wow it actually works out better and you start
Yes.
to have faith to something. So there was a book and there was something that led me on this journey. What led you on this journey of trust?
Yeah. So I love the way you just said that because it's so true. And you have to flex that muscle, right? You have to flex it. You have to choose the love and not the fear, choose the love and not the fear. So you get the choices. You start to choose, you start to flex, and you start to see your life changing. And then you do it. And it starts off with small things. And then as you expand your consciousness and you start to fall out of alignment with certain things, you get to make the harder, the tougher choices, right? And in the very beginning, it was religion. It was this deep, I was not resonating with it. And I had children that I exited from it myself, which was fine, and I did get married in the church to make my grandmother happy and my family happy and all of that stuff. And then the children came and I got them baptized and we did the traditional things. And I was very into that space, pleasing, doing what was expected of me. And, I was also moving through the decades of my life. So when you're in your 20s and your 30s and you're different each one of those. And I remember thinking, okay, I put my kids in CCD and I didn't really believe in it and I just wasn't resonating in it. And I just said, I can't I can't leave my kids here to believe and to learn a faith that I don't believe in. Like I can't do it. So I took them out. And I was like, and I'm like this in life. If something doesn't resonate, if I can't make a decision, I don't do anything. So I didn't do anything. And then they started shuffling priests around and all this stuff started happening. And I just was like, that doesn't seem right. That's off. And then I started having memories because I went to a private Catholic school. And I remember being in the back of the church. And I remember all kinds of shenanigans that I had little snapshots of. And then I remember this concept of love started. And I said, well, if God is love, then how is God going to judge me and tell me I have eternal life or eternal damnation? If God is love, they don't go together. So there was this like, it just wasn't working. And what happened was my father, who was an alcoholic, and he had a lot of trouble parenting, and he had addiction and depression, and he succumbed to alcoholism. And I remember I had a lot of realizations before he died where I was in another decade of my life, so I could relate to him. I understood his suffering. I understood his problems. I understood him in a different way because I had mortgage and kids and life and stress and all the things. Not like when I was a kid. It was different. And I watched him die, and my mother and my brother and I watched him die, and I remember wondering where he actually went because his body was here, but where did he actually go? And it was like it just I just wanted to know. And what happened was there was a lot of things happening at the same time. I lost my house. We had a recession. I my perspective changed. I met Abraham Hicks online and I started understanding those teachings and started thinking about abundance and talking about manifestation. Like my everything was happening at the same time. I got an opportunity to go to the psychic medium workshop. And it was a bunch of women that were in my social circle that suddenly I fell out of when we lost our house and our money. But they would keep me in like conversations. And we talked about going to this thing, but no one ever invited me. And they made plans and the whole thing. And I was like, I really wanted to go to that. A paid ticket came out of nowhere, a way for my kids to be watched so I didn't have to watch them, came out, was easy. And I was able to go to the psychic medium workshop. I walked in, sat right in the front, and he said, we're going to get started now. I might come over to you. And he goes, for instance, your father, he died of alcoholism. Was his liver, and I went, it was one of those moments where I was like, huh? And he goes, or I might go over to you. And he was like explaining how the night was going to go down. So we got started and he goes, I'm sorry, I have to come over to you. Your father is here. And I was like, okay. And I'm an artist and a musician, very, very, very creative person. And he goes, your father wants you to know how talented you are. And I was like, "Pow, pow," because that was so specific to my relationship. This man didn't know me. He didn't know anything about me or my father. And it made me wake up. And he said he's so sorry for how he treated you. He never showed you love. And he wants you to know that he sees how you're doing your life and he wished he could have done better. And he wants your forgiveness. So in forgiveness, everything opens up in forgiveness. Compassion, empathy, forgiveness. And also this like break into reality of your reality of there's life after this physical meat suit of ours. So, it was like, And that's how it started. I had to read everything, see everything, talk about everything, experience everything. I wanted to know more and more and more, which is what the people in my community are doing. And that's why people resonate with my story, because they've had one part of that scenario, and
Yeah.
they feel it. They feel it. They feel the resonance of it. And it's it was a long journey for me, but people are waking up very quickly now. It's a different world now than it was when I was starting in 2012.
Yeah. And you're right, like one of the symptoms of like a fast awakening, like many things, many things
Yeah.
that happen at the same
Yeah.
time. So again, like the similarities that when you tell your stories, like I've heard you on other podcasts as well, like a lot of things are happening at the same time because literally
Yeah.
like your whole world is changing at the same time in many aspects of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I really, since I was a little girl, have had this really strong connection to Jesus. And he was very relevant in the church, and I always prayed to him. I knew he always had my back, always, always. And I wanted to know about Jesus. I wanted to know all about him and his teaching and where he disappeared to. And, he did Reiki. And like, it was just fascinating. It was fascinating to learn all about everything and different religions and how they're all connected. And then you start to want experiences. So then you want to understand, how do I do these things? And so you're on your awakening journey, but you're starting your healing journey, but you don't know you're starting your healing journey because you go to Reiki and you have an experience and it breaks your heart chakra wide open. And then you're like, I want something else. And so you start to learn, and then you start to practice. You don't know you're practicing. And that's really what I'm trying to help people do now, is heal, raise their frequency so they can align with their soul purpose, because that's what they really want to know. But they have healing to do
Yeah.
to be able to align with it. It's already there, and that's what I was doing over all those years.
Yeah. Before we get to like raising the vibration, um, I want to go back to you, the relationship aspect. For me personally, when I was going through my awakening, like you barely recognize the version of yourself like a month ago or
Yeah,
even a day ago. Like it's just every day you feels like a new person and you shift
yeah,
it. So you can't, if you look at the person that you next to you that you fell in love with and you decided to be spend time together, well that person is completely different person now. Like it's almost like
yeah,
waking up to a stranger. So it's not
yeah,
unusual for the relationship to have the tension or to start to create distance.
yeah,
And when I was going through my stuff, I was looking at, well, if Wayne Dyer and some of the other people that I know, like they're separated, even Buddha, like when he was going through his awakening, he's left his wife and child behind. Like, what chance do I have? Am I supposed to stay or go? So obviously, we're not here to give advice to anyone. Um,
right.
um, but what was well, actually, in now that you know what you know, like what for people that's going through that awakening, like what wisdom
Yeah,
would you share with them in terms of how do they navigate this, especially if they have an intimate partner?
yeah. It's a big, it's a lot.
Take a
It is,
breath.
because honestly, I love this question, because so my ex-husband, I was married for 16 and a half years. And up until the moment that I met him, my grandfather was always the highest expression of a man's love that I ever had, right? My grandfather didn't live anymore. He was deceased. Um, there's a certain level of worthiness, of love, of all the things that you are calibrated at every single point in your life. I'm different now, like you said, than I was then. But I fell in love with someone. I fell in love with all the aspects of him. I fell in love with the things that I knew that I had to accept about him, and I compromised on. I had moments about that, but I chose to find the loving aspects of him, to put them at the forefront. And as you start shifting your vibration, you fall out of resonance. It doesn't always happen. Sometimes couples resonate or elevate together.
Mm.
Sometimes they expand together. And when I find that, which I do, it's the most beautiful thing. because it's so amazing that they get to do that.
Yeah.
Or they hold space for each other if they're in that elevating, scenario together. But I can look back on it like I was waking up. I was seeing the world in a multicolor. He was still in black and white, and he was not making any movements. There was nothing happening on the dial. And there was just such an extreme contrast. And love just became this huge, it was the only thing I could really understand at that moment of my life. Love just became such a huge driving factor. I mean, it's really truly all there is, but back then that's all I knew. And he kept saying, well, we'll stay together until the kids are in college. And I kept saying, I'm not really, I don't want to accept that. I believe that there's more opportunity, more love, more everything for my future. Don't even ask me how I knew that. I just did. And it was excruciating. It was several years. It's just like ayahuasca. If you feel a pull, you will know when it's right. You wait and you see. With my marriage, I had to wait and I had to communicate and I had to see, put effort in and make sure I did everything the way I need. I considered everything. I don't care what anyone says. An exterior point of view is theirs, not mine. I judged everything and waited. But ultimately, I had to move forward in love because this was all pulling on me, Gary. Like this whole reality right now was pulling on me, my soul pulling on me because that was a pivotal moment in my life. And I remember being in the corner of my office, crouched down in a ball, crying, crying because I was suffering, but I had to suffer to get to the surrender. And, I get shivers thinking about it. But I also got to make a choice. And this is what I try to share with everyone who's going through a separation or, departing their beloveds. You get to do that through love. You get to choose how you position yourself, how you show up. Every moment you make a decision and then you honor it. And it's not easy. It's not always easy because all the fears get triggered, all the things, all the, the posse surrounds them and the conversations happen. And it's really hard. But you're knowing higher and better and you're choosing higher and better. So you sit in that space of higher and better and and you just show up as the witness. And that's what I did. And I will always love him. Love that doesn't go away because he's the father of my children. Therefore, they are half of him. And so I'll always love him. I'm not in love with him, So there's a difference there.
Yeah.
And I wish him nothing but the best. He met someone right away and I was happy for him. And it made his life better, which made my kids' life better, which made everything better. So it was like, there's choices. There's just choices, 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 choices. And you will be like, or you'll be mad, or you'll look at a text and you want to respond. You got to walk away. Give yourself an hour a day, whatever it is you need.
Yeah.
Go walk around, go in nature, something, and then find your perspective. Until you find it, then you respond and you respond in love.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
um I like what you've broken down um the three different framework. Um, I think like growing up in the Western world, we weren't taught to even the Eastern world, a lot of that is lost, but we're not taught on how to use our intuition and our guidance.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is a framework, and in the Western framework, you say a vow and you get happily married after, and divorce is not a thing. But
Yeah.
what you frame that as is like relationship, there are three main buckets. One is like there are couples that just elevate together. Sometimes that you see some couples without doing much work in learning about love language and masculine feminine, they just like get along and it's the best bud for the rest of their life. It's like sometimes I'm envious, but then I also know that for me, like the biggest gift is that my partner and I, like we like the second bucket, you hold
Yeah.
space for each other,
Yeah.
and yes, it's not lovey-dovey all the time, but you grow as a result. That's usually that needs, well, pretty much all the time you need some sort of catalyst.
Yeah.
I often say that we want to wake up, well, the people that wants to wake up, awakening, and well, if you're in paradise sipping coconut on one hand and looking at the turquoise water, you're not gonna like suddenly jump out. I don't feel like getting up. But when there's a bomb, a boom, boom,
Yeah.
like what's
It's
going
like,
on?
boom. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Absolutely.
and then the third
Yeah.
catalyst is like, well, like how do you know when it's time to part? And what you touched on, Pam, is that when you're when you're making decision from a state of love rather than fear, that I
Mm-hmm.
need to run, I need to escape, then it
Mm-hmm.
tends to be the right one. Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and who's to say that some people maybe they here for a season rather than a lifetime is not the way to
Yeah.
go. And
Right.
to be able to love someone, regardless of whether you are in the same house or not, that's beautiful.
Yeah. And, we all come down here to serve and play roles for each other. And, he served a purpose and played a role. And I kept hearing our contract is over. The contract is over. The contract is over. And I do believe, um, you know, the marriage contract, but he was still in my life and there were still experiences that I had to, deal with and consider and expand or contract with and all of that. But my children had to come, and because there's certain things that they need to do that I need to teach or learn, help them with their soul learn lessons. And and that'll happen until I guess for the rest of our life, because I affected him, he affected me, whether or not we think about each other or talk to each other. I mean, his birthday was days ago, and I thought about him, and in my mind, I wished him happy birthday. That's what I mean. They're there forever. They're
Yeah.
always there because you had shared experiences. But I will tell you now, you have fun, you date, you're on your path of awakening and you experience all kinds of things, which is also part of the journey. Maybe you were foolish and, I'm a human being. I make mistakes and make lots of mistakes. I'm not perfect by any means, but you get to a place where you, like you said, you understand I'm a frequency. I know what I'm attracting now, and the person that I'm with right now, we are intentional about our relationship and our love, and we hold space for each other, like you said. But we want to, like, it's a different dynamic. There's no like da, 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 blah, blah, blah. There might be some of that, but like we understand what it is,
Yeah.
if that comes up. But it's a deeper dive. It's a more meaningful expression of love, and it's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah.
And to touch on your point is that give us space to for the guidance to come through whichever way that you go. For me, if I can share this story, is like one time, like I was in the heat of like my awakening, and like there was a lot of tension, and I was asking the question, are we meant to be together? So because it's so difficult, and I
Yeah.
was homeschooling the kids. I was schooling my kids at the time, and I walked past a book. It's almost like it's looking at me. It's the Chinese and Western astrology combined. So
Mm.
Western star sign got 12 star sign, Chinese got 12 star sign. Combined together, there's 144 permutation, right? So the
Wow.
book is almost as thick as the Old Testament Bible. I flick
Mhm.
it open. The first page is my star sign, like over 144. It's like, oh wow, this is
Ah.
interesting. And I flick a few more pages to the end of the chapter. It says out of 144, that's not normally like Western or
Yeah,
Chinese
144.
astrology. They've got
Mhm.
out of 12, there's like three different star sign of compatibility. Well, this one out of 144, you've got one soulmate. And guess whose star sign it was?
It
It's
was,
my
yeah.
wife's.
Oh
Yeah,
my
and
gosh.
normally like Taurus and Leo doesn't get along. Snake and monkey they don't get along, but for whatever reason, like the universe like guided me to that book and guided that hey we're meant to be like together. Like and again I don't
Yeah.
hold attachment how long it needs to be, but like it's like listening to the sign that you say like
Yeah.
it'll come through, and sometimes it's more obvious than not. So I guess the next question is like a lot of the work that you do in a portal in your community and through your sharing is to help people raise this and clearing the stuff and raise the vibration. How do people like raise the vibration so they can get whether it's channeling, whether it's guidance? How do people go
Yeah.
about this?
It's a common question, and it's for me, it was a journey. And it's right now the greatest teaching that the Great Council of Light wants to share with everyone. Number one, most people don't even understand that they are a frequency, that they hold a frequency. The guides talk about a signal. It's a signal that you put out into the universe, and then you receive exactly that signal back because that's what you're resonating at. There's a signal to everything, frequency to everything. So if they, it's so interesting when they want me to share something, create something, I'll be in the middle of channeling and then they'll just, boom, they'll bring in a course or boom, they'll bring in a meditation. It just comes out. And there was this exercise that they wanted me to create. And it's for the people who are just learning that they have a frequency, that there's vibration, the law of attraction, all this stuff. And they basically said they want you to go back to your childhood, remember an experience that was like the happiest that you ever remembered, like something that you loved and you felt so much joy and so much excitement. And they want you to remember that. And now they want you to hold that in your body and feel it. I could feel it right now. It feels good. It feels vast. It feels exciting. You get shivers, your crown chakra, a little goosebumps up your arm. That's a vibration. That's a frequency. That's a signal. Okay. Now they want you to go back to your childhood and remember a fearful experience that you had. Something where you cower, you recede, you constrict, you're afraid. That's low. It doesn't feel good. It's a very low frequency. So now you create a scale of 1 to 10 with the highest frequency and the best frequency at 10 and the lowest at 1. Now you have a scale that you can use. Now go about your day and measure your experiences throughout that day and numerically write down what they are. And now your job is to look at them and see which ones are the lower ones and to alleviate them from your experience, from your day, from your existence. And that's how you start. It's kindergarten level. It's like, it's the basic level of understanding. But once you start doing that and you put it into play, you flex a muscle, you create, you make the change, it shifts everything. And they say it just takes one, one turn, one change to shift everything. So then your frequency will raise. So that becomes, what are you consuming? That's not just eating, drinking. What are you watching? What are you spending your time doing? Are you doom scrolling on social media? Are you commenting and messaging and getting yourself all worked up in a frenzy, which occupies your mind, which gets you in that state of chaos and worry? Who are you spending your time with? People that you like being with or that are low vibration, that bring you down, that make your mind also get occupied? What's your work like? What's your relationship like? So that gets put into play in a small way. And then, it's a broad experience with that frequency adjustment, with that elevation of your frequency. Now it's a whole other ballgame. You're able to start mastering frequency, which was the August channeled message. They want you to be the master of frequency, right? To create. You are a super creator, a strong creator. You create your here and now continually. So you get to create the experience and the existence that you desire. And when you are able to resonate in a higher frequency, fearful events, fearful experiences, fearful things that get presented to you, they don't knock you over, take you over. They are able to be witnessed without being consumed. And that's really the whole thing that they want to help us with right now on the planet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing.
Isn't that interesting? It's so
Yeah.
cool.
Uh,
Yeah.
So I like the whole again, like with the very logical, pragmatic mind, is
hmm
having the events of each day and having a numbers associated. So if you got a message or someone said something to you that triggers you,
hmm
and you recognize that. you have the awareness. Like some people think, well, I didn't like the way that I felt, but even having that awareness, that's already like a sign of the awakening. So assuming that if they have the awareness, they're feeling at a lower level number, what should they do then?
Yeah. Witness it. Just be the witness of it.
Mm.
Witness it. Understand it. Give yourself a moment to pause and experience what's happening. That's huge to give yourself that gift. I mean, you do that in your professional life. You do that with your children. You give yourself the moment to not be reactive. You do, I mean, all of us. So give it to yourself, you know? Um, it is just a moment of reflection. It's a moment of reflection. Also, when you witness that text from, say, your ex-husband or whomever, and you see, it's not about you, it's about them. So that's the whole point. I have to find the August message because it talks about the master of your frequency, and it talks about the child. The child resonates at a high frequency. The child has not yet been conformed into all of the structures that we have as an adult. They don't have all these responsibilities and these things weighing them down. And it says, the child looks up at the sky and the birds that fly among it with wonder and amazement, like, wow, look at that. I just saw this person posted on Instagram their baby at an aquarium, and that it was like it was so excited. That's what they want you to do. But not only that, the child also could look at a giant beast in front of it, a dog or something with big eyes and big teeth, but it will still look at it at the frequency that it has with wonder and amazement because it's coming from within. It's creating that experience. So it's still in wonder. And they want us to be more like that, where we're not just, consuming it and taking on that frequency, where we're able to master who we are to witness it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Pam, I don't know whether you noticed, but throughout the whole time that we've been recording this podcast, every so often there'll be a light like beaming or shining. I don't know whether it's light like natural or what, but it doesn't. If
Yeah.
the I'm assuming that you've got windows somewhere, but normally the sun will be constant, but it's like it will be flashes. Sometimes we're glowing around you, sometimes we're coming at an angle.
Yeah. I heard that before. And when I am in the mastermind with the Great Council and the people that are in the mastermind, it's present the whole entire time. It gets really vast and surrounds me. Isn't that cool? I
Yeah,
haven't seen it. Other people see it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's so neat.
So you channel the Galactic Council of Light, and I've listened to a few of them. What what is the yeah, are they here to help us with the humanity's awakening, or is there a certain thing? Because I believe that through you, um, that's really important message that's coming through for the
Yeah.
listener. Not for
Yeah.
every single person. Maybe everyone can benefit, but if you're listening to this right now, like there's an important message that through you are bringing through to them.
Yeah.
What is this message?
Yeah. Well, besides, I have been working with them for a short amount of time, since 2020. So it's only been 5 years. And it's taking me time to really fine tune this transmission that happens with them because they're super high frequency, powerful beings. And I am able to hold a tremendous amount of energy. I always have been. I was a singer, and I'm able to hold a tremendous amount of breath. I'm able to hold notes for long. I have a huge range. And I believe that's part of why I am also, that's part of me. But they, we, as they have said, are brethren, I am part of them, was commissioned in another place and time. We all agreed together that I would come and do this right now, specifically in humanity and planet Earth right now for the shift that's happening. And there's a lot of channelers out there, and everybody does something unique and different, and many wonderful messages that are transmitted. I am to teach about love, energy, frequency, creator, being creator beings, and all of that. But I am also here to help navigate through these tumultuous times that are here. So it's really, not everyone is commissioned to do that, but I know that I am. And it's taken me leaps of courage, of courage to get comfortable with putting the messages out there. Because, like I said, with the ayahuasca, there's still fear about getting on stage to put this stuff out there. And I just started doing that in October of 2024. You know, I was in a band for 10 years, pushing myself to go on stage to sing, to get comfortable in front of an audience. I knew it was for something greater, but I never knew it was for this, you know? And it's really, it's a getting comfortable with sharing the message, getting comfortable with who's receiving it, getting comfortable with the comments, getting comfortable with knowing that, you know, I've shifted so many times since October 2024 into this space of owning it now, owning it. And that was a process, my soul's journey, my soul's path. Um, so yeah, they want you to raise your frequency so that you don't have as much fear when the fearful times happen. And this year is a year of profound change. Last year, 2024, I channeled an energy and predictions video, and they talked about the government changes. They talked about an assassination attempt on President Trump. They talked about people falling far from their positions in music and entertainment. We saw those things start to happen. In 2025, I put an energy and predictions video out in January, and it talked about, you know, natural disasters. It talked about, you know, different things coming to our country of America, the United States. Um, so I put those out there because I'm humbly doing my work, and then they are out there, and then, you know, visions start to come and things start to present themselves to me. And right now it was all about a magnitude level 9 or greater earthquake that was channeled on June 23rd that would create a tsunami. And, you know, we're seeing the ring of fire. I didn't even know there was a term, the ring of fire. We're seeing all of that awaken now. We're seeing volcanoes and natural disasters happening all over the world. On June 23rd, they said in 2 weeks. I got timid and I said in a few weeks. But in 2 weeks, July 4th, we had that flood here in Texas, and they said it would be the beginning of natural disasters, a phenomenon in your United States. So then they told me in 4 days, and it was like 5 days, and that's when the earthquake, one of the earthquakes. It's not the earthquake they were talking about. I know that there's everything inside of me is telling me it's not that one. There's a 9+ coming. And then I woke up 2 weeks ago and I heard subterranean sub. I don't even know the word subterranean landlock, and like I'm half asleep, half awake, and I'm writing this down. I don't
Yeah.
even know how to spell that. And I wake up and I look it up, and it's exactly related to the tectonic plates, and the shape that I saw is what a landlock is. And if that releases, and, you know, all of those things add up to the messages that I received. So I only share them when I get them, Gary. Like, I'm out there like, oh, I've got to post today, and it's a Wednesday, and it's got, you know, that's not what I do it. And, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, I
yeah,
saw your channel, like you're very raw and real, and I want to recognize you and acknowledge you for that because even for my channel at the beginning, especially, I didn't share it because most of the people you know they are not in this frequency, they're not going to understand,
yeah,
and how would they react, and like I don't want to deal with any of that, so I didn't share with any of them.
yeah.
And just let the YouTube algorithm naturally just find whoever that needs this content.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And that's how it is.
Yeah.
Because you know, the people who are not meant to receive it will not receive it. And they will post and they will share and they will mock and they will meet it, or or they'll be very, very fearful, and they'll meet it with a level of fear that they have. And I, you know, was upset about all of that because it's hard for me. I don't want to scare people. And the guide said, Pamela, you have to know that those who are meant to receive it will, and those who are not will not. And
Yeah.
that's all that matters. And it's like, yeah, you know, I'm learning about this journey
Yeah.
and this experience. Yeah.
Do you feel called for us to call the Galactic Council of Light now?
We can, yeah. And I just sent you a little message. So I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah. Cool. Yep.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay.
Uh, yep.
Yeah. I'm happy to share a little message for
Sure.
sure. Okay. I'll just
So,
let's
yep.
see what
I'll
they
let you do
have
you.
to say. Is that cool? Okay, we'll see what they have to say. Yes, we are here. We are here. We are very happy to be here indeed. Yes, we are here, dear ones. Yes, as we have shared with you in your prediction video and your most recent channeled messages, there is a shift that is coming to your reality very soon. We implore you, yes, indeed, to work on your individual frequency. For within that shift of your frequency, you will align with a higher and better experience overall for your reality. We ask you now to prepare your homes, prepare your hearts, prepare your mind space for these shifts. There is nothing here to be fearful of. In fact, you have the understanding now of how to advance, the tools with which you are able to use to create. It is all there for you now, dear ones. For we do not dare to fearmonger, as you have said. No, indeed, it is through love, the highest intentions for you, humanity, all of mankind, yes, indeed. For at the core of who you are, it is love. Love at the highest frequency there is, yes, indeed. So we share this with you now, knowing and honoring the path for which you have aligned with now on your planet, your Earth plane. For yes, you did indeed make the choice to come now, here, for this experience that is to be presented for the expansion of your soul and your consciousness as a whole. Yes, indeed, dear ones. They get excited, so they get excited and
Thank
that
you.
was nice. I mean, I heard parts of it. Parts of it, I'm not present, but yeah, Gary. It's like I said to them, I feel another shift coming for me. I feel it. I've had migraines the last couple days, and it's normally what happens when I'm shifting again in my headspace and my energy body, and I get irritable and I get impatient and I have sleepless nights and those sorts of things because like an up leveling is coming, and I really truly believe it's because a shift is coming soon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, Pam, thank you for all that you do. So,
you're
um,
so welcome.
I know that if people wanted to learn more, they can go on the YouTube channel. I know that you've got a resource on your website. You've got multiple offerings to help guide or maybe
Yeah,
create a space, a container would be a better word. And you've been
yeah.
doing some incredible work. I don't know whether we've got time, but if you got any like stories of maybe how some people in your community by being part of it, how their life have shifted, maybe like they'll be good.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, those who align with the community and the council, even on my team, they have an up leveling. So they have a shift in their consciousness. Their lives change, their relationships change, their work changes, everything shifts. There's a whole bunch of people who are having these rapid ascensions now. They are really tapping into their spiritual gifts very quickly. And the guides are there to help them navigate these shifts. It's my like honor to be able to help support everyone. I'm very active in the community. And then for those who really want to dive deeper, they are able to work one on one with me or in the mastermind. But we're doing profound healing now. There's a womb activation meditation that I just channeled. It's not mine. That is healing all women, all women. So it's like past life ancestral energy that's trapped that needs to be healed. It's this life experiences, memories come up, emotions come up. They're 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. They're freaking powerful. They're incredible. And, you know, it's clearing this life, it's past life, and it's setting the stage for new life. It's amazing. Menopausal women and all kinds of women are releasing the energy and the entrapment of rape and, moments of shame. Like, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Who knew I was doing that 2 months ago? Not me. It's incredible. And then there's a pineal gland activation meditation that is just the bomb. That's all I
Wow.
can say. You can feel it in your head. It's incredible. They actually are it's them leading the meditation. So it's so cool. And I'll be in San Diego at the Transcendence Retreat with Ann Tucker and Bashar and Adam Abke. Aaron Abke.
Yeah.
It's so hard. Yeah, it's hard to remember everybody's names um, because I'm new in this space. I don't know everyone.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and so that's going to be really fun. I'm going to be leading a session. I'm going to be leading a pineal gland activation. So it's really cool. But thank you so much for everything. I loved meeting you and sharing this space. It
Yeah.
was a wonderful time.
And your website, do you want to share what that is? And
Yes.
your
Oh,
social
thank you.
media? Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's spirit-calling.com. And there's a 7-day free trial. And then there's a work with me page, and you can find everything on there. And then my YouTube and my Instagram are at Spirit Calling Pamela, and my TikTok at Spirit Calling Pamela.
Pamela, bless you for sharing this message with us. And thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. It was wonderful to share time with you.
Yeah, if you like this episode, please share with someone that you know will love this content and comments. We'd love to hear from you as well. So thank you so much.